Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah from Teacher is Happy, and today I'm going to show you how to make a Taylor Swift inspired giant friendship bracelet garland for your classroom, for your next party, whatever it might be. It's cheap, it's fun, it's actually easier than it looks. So how much money you spend on this definitely depends on how creative you can be, or how much you want to scour like thrift stores, Facebook Marketplace, your own things that you have around your house that you might not need anymore. I was very lucky that I found on Facebook Marketplace someone that was giving away these ball pit balls for free. You can actually buy them for $9 from Kmart, but it's for a pack of 100, and I just rinse these with vinegar and use them as the big beads. I've seen all sorts of different ones. I've seen ones on Amazon. I've seen like the trendier, nicer ones that I would have preferred to get, but my timeline did not allow, / I was like, I'm not spending a silly amount of money on this. I can get these for free, so I'm going to do these ones instead. So they're a bit of a brighter color, but you can buy like the more pastel, like trendy ones. And if you're someone that has kids or something and they're done with using them and you want to use them for that, awesome. Or if you want to spend money and buy the Amazon ones, I'll link them down below. The Amazon ones also come with some different shapes. So this one, I'm kind of limited to this shape and the pool noodle shape, which I'll show you as well. So these are the two shapes we can really work with on this one today, but I know that you can buy like stars and hearts and all sorts of really cute ones. So it kind of just depends how much money you want to spend on your garland. So I'm going to go through what you need, which are some ball pit balls, a pool noodle, which you are going to cut up and make these rounds, some fishing line. And I actually got this fishing line for free because we went into Anaconda, and I guess my friend Emily and I were like wandering around not looking like we knew what we were doing in Anaconda, especially in the fishing section. And a guy came up to us and he was like, "What are you looking for?" And we're like, "Fishing line." He's like, "It's not for fishing, is it?" And I was like, "No, it is not." And he was like, "Are you teachers?" And I was like, "Yes." And he knew. And he had this fishing line behind the counter and he was like, "Just take it. Just take it." So I got free fishing line thanks to that guy in Anaconda. We got free fishing line. The next thing you're going to need, which unfortunately you're probably going to have to buy because I'm not sure it's something that everyone has laying around the house, is just a very large needle. It's got like enough of a head that you can fit the fishing line through it, or if you want to do it on yarn and things, but fishing line is definitely preferred. As it like will pierce through and just like travel through the baubles really easily. So this needle, and I think this was $8.50, but it came in a packet of 3 different needles. If you can buy a single one, just buy a single one, and that was from Spotlight. I also bought some PVA glue, but I did use a glue stick when I attempted the first one, which I showed you, and it seemed to work just fine, but I thought I would buy some glue just in case. Now, the next part is optional. Today I'm going to be using my Cricut, but of course you could totally just cut and draw or paint your own little circles, but using my Cricut is a lot quicker, easier, and looks, I don't know, I guess a little bit more professional as well, because I can use it to cut out perfect circles and the letters in the font that I wanted. So this font I'll have to look up, but looked the most like an actual bead. It's kind of got rounded edges and it's really cute. So all I used for that, it was white cardboard, some black vinyl, and some transfer tape. And of course, if you're using a Cricut, you need some Cricut materials. So I had my scissors, my little, I don't know what this is called, scraper tool, and this scary looking thing, which is called I think it's called a weeding tool. So the 3 tools that I needed to use. And I did use a tape measure as well. And behind me, I did also use a chopping board and a knife because it was a lot quicker to cut up the parts of the noodles with a knife than it was with scissors. Because the scissors, I don't know if you can tell, but on the side, it's like a little bit like it's going off into its own planet, but with a knife it was a very straight cut, and ended up, actually my friend Emily did most of the cutting because she's just like, she's very precise, so she did a really good job, and it was really quick to cut these. It only took like 2 minutes to cut pretty much the whole noodle, and I'm only using like a handful of them. And a noodle, this noodle I bought from Bunnings for $2, but you can buy them in lots of places and they're only like $1 or $2. So I do kind of regret getting a red one because it matches nothing. So like I said, the first thing I did was to rinse all these balls because I did get them on Facebook Marketplace. So I washed them in just like some cleaning vinegar and water. I guess you could just do like soapy water, but I had the cleaning vinegar already out, so I just like chucked it on, threw it around, laid it out in the sun because I don't know where those baubles, you know, if they've been in a child's mouth or something, I didn't heaps want to then touch them over and over again. So the first step we're going to do is to cut the noodles. Now I'm going to put up a video here of my friend doing it because she's already cut them all for me, and that is to make them into little rounds. So we cut these rounds into about 1 inch, so about 2.5 centimeters each time, and you want to keep them really neat and consistent so that when the beads are hanging, they're not like some of them coming out like further forward than the other one. So make sure you keep it nice and neat. So the next thing you're going to do is go into the Cricut design space. The first thing we're going to do is create the shapes that will cut out the circles for each of the individual beads. So they do have free shapes in here, and luckily a circle is one of them. So we're going to make a circle. It's going to be about 7 centimeters wide. So we're going to make sure that we go down to edit and then change the width to 7 centimeters. And then you are going to duplicate and duplicate and duplicate until you have as many beads that you need for your one. For my one, I had, I think 13 beads or something for my saying, which was in our year era. I'm not going to show you what year because I haven't actually announced that yet, and I'm not sure if I'm allowed to. So in our year, whatever grade you're teaching, era, obviously you can have them say whatever you wanted. I thought in my learning era would be really cute. You could say anything. You could have like create, write, inspire. You could have like little like your class sayings or your school values or whatever you wanted to have. But that was what I wanted. So they can all take a little photo on their first day, and then we can take it maybe on our last day as well and see how much they've grown. In regards to the text, obviously you just type in whatever you want. And then the font I used was, is it Arial? I never know how to say that. Arial Rounded MT Bold, because that's got the most rounded text letters and it looks the most similar to like the traditional little beads. And you want to make sure it's all in capitals as well, so it looks really cohesive. So once you've created as many circles as you need, you're going to Cricut them onto some white card, and then we're going to follow that process again by putting it onto black vinyl to make each of the letters. Make sure when you're transferring over the letters with the transfer tape that you're putting them in the dead center of the circle so that it looks really neat and you're not going to have to rip them off because you haven't done it correctly. So it's now time to thread the needle. So obviously we are just putting the fishing line straight through, and we're just going to give ourselves a little bit of leeway on the other side. I'm just going to keep it on the end of the fishing line so that if I decide like I want it longer or shorter, I can make that decision later, because if you pre-cut it, then you're stuck with however long that is. And you want to make sure when you go to create your banner that you're starting with the correct bauble on one end to the other end. So you might want to like lay them out, or yeah, just make sure they fit your color scheme. With these balls, because they're just so bright, I'm just going with like a rainbow color scheme. So I'm going to work my way starting with pink and ending at blue. Keep it kind of like consistent and make sure the bauble fits on both sides. I'm going to pierce it along. Can you see where there's like a connector between it? So I'm going to pierce it along there and try to reach for the other side. You can kind of see through these baubles, so it makes it really easy. It's actually a lot easier than you'd think to pierce through, but you've just got to be really gentle with the bauble because you don't want to let all the air go in it, because then it squishes and then sometimes won't regain its same, what do you call it? Like its same shape. And you're going to repeat this as many times as your design requires. Now the reason we're threading all these before pasting on the circles to the little pieces of foam that we've cut up is because that way you have each of the letters laid out and you can put them in a row. Sometimes when you go to stick them on and then they're facing like the wrong way, or they're upside down, or they're back to front, it doesn't look as good. So it's always best to plan ahead and have all the discs there and then glue them on at the end so you can lay it all out correctly. Or you can use these style of beads as well if you want to just like change it up and not have the round ones all the time. But I don't love the color scheme, so I'm going to get rid of that one and just use it as my bead backing. See how I've kind of pushed in too far on that, so it's starting to lose a bit of shape, so you might want to just like squeeze it out. And I'm going to pick my rounds that are just like the flattest and the best ones and the most even, because you want it to like lay flat all together. So luckily foam is very easy to pierce with the big needle. Obviously if you're a child watching this, make sure that someone is helping you with all these very pointy things. Now this is the only trick, is if you want it to lay as flat as possible, you want to aim for piercing the needle through the middle over here and then all the way to the middle over here as well, which is probably the maybe the trickiest part I found. And this is the way you want your bead to hang. You want the string to go through the center because you're going to cover that with the rounds. And this is where it comes in handy to make sure you like plan out what you're going to have, and if you're going to have something in between each of the letters. So if my last word is error, I'm going to put in 3 of these and then have a little bauble either side of it. On the one I made earlier, I put a blue bauble in between each word just to keep it really cohesive, because I was worried if I started following the pattern again, it would just look messy. So it's now time to glue on each of the individual rounds. So I'm going to use this PVA glue, but I did use a just like glue stick last time and just put heaps of it on to lay it flat. And you want to make sure it's as flush to the edges as possible. I found that about a 7 cm circle just gave you enough leeway so it hid the color of the noodle as well. So whether it's for your house, a party, your kid's bedroom, your classroom, I would love to see pictures of your finished super big friendship bracelets inspired by the Taylor Swift Eras Tour. I'm so excited. I'm actually going in February. Oh, I'm wearing my very unofficial Taylor Swift merch today because I'm so excited. I need to plan my outfit. That will be maybe in a video to come. I'm so excited to show you my final product in my classroom. I will do a classroom tour or something in the coming weeks, so make sure that you're following me over on Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe here on YouTube, and comment down below with any other DIYs or any other content that you'd like me to create. And for watching this one, thank you kindly.